So here we go. It says, becoming stronger with practice. How can I tell the difference between a spiritual experience and my imagination? Okay, how many of you who have had a spiritual experience have actually wondered, was I imagining that? I mean, there are things that have happened that I'm like, oh my gosh, that was insane, but awesome, right? And I personally, and I haven't read his answer yet, but this is me. I personally feel like if I'm feeling really good, then I know it's a higher spiritual experience. Like when I met that angel in New York, I talked to you guys about, it's in one of my videos under Angel Encounter, and I can put a little box in the corner at the end of this video so you can look it up. But after I met him, he came up to me after a rather traumatic experience. And he came up to me like 10 to 15 blocks later, me walking really fast. And I just felt so calm and happy, like blissed out. Now, I don't do drugs, nothing like that. It was just like, I imagine what people on some kind of like, I don't know, happy drug feel. Because I was just like, and I let the whole experience go. That was nasty. So yeah, that's one way for me. But let's see what Sri Klemp says. Imagination is real, though it is often taken lightly. Have you ever looked through a pair of binoculars at someone or a building, an animal, a bird, or something else? When you first put the binoculars to your eyes, the thing you are trying to see is out of focus. Okay, but the object is there, it is real. Imagination during the spiritual exercises of Ek is a real spiritual experience, which becomes stronger with practice. Okay, so in other words, like if you're using a binocular to look at an animal, when you start to look, you have to adjust the dials and zone in and hone in on that animal that you're observing, right? It's not like it's immediately clear, but it's still a real animal. So in your spiritual exercises, look for the blue light of the Mahanta. That would be a blue orb hanging around. How many of you have seen and you think, oh, that's blood pressure? No. Okay, it could be, don't get me wrong, not a professional doctor or anything like that. But the blue light of the Mahanta is an orb of, it's kind of like a notice that he's there. It's almost like, you know, your angels are there with you. Okay, or a white one is good too, golden also. Imagine seeing it as a blue star in the heavens at night, or as a cloud of blue twinkling lights, or look for the Mahanta himself, who is the Mahanta, if you're not familiar with that term, is he's the current living Ekmaster, and he is a guide, not to be worshipped, but a guide. How can I learn to remember more of my dreams? Remembering dreams takes a strong desire and a lot of willpower. It means going to bed early enough, of course, and it means having a notebook, a pen, and a light nearby to record any fragment of a dream in the middle of the night. It means being satisfied with small bits of dreams in the beginning, but having the confidence of a sharper memory to come. That's so true. So you just write whatever you remember down, or you speak it into your recorder at night, right, on your phone, and then you listen to it in the morning. And sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, now I fully remember being there, but I didn't until I read it again. And then I gleaned seeds of wisdom from it. So I'll write down every single dream, and then I'll write IMP, meaning impression, and then I'll record the impression of what I thought that dream actually meant. Now, when I look back, sometimes it actually meant that, but other times it was way something different, okay? So you just never know what you're gonna get. And here's something I learned along the way. Dream memories slack off from time to time as you approach a new area of consciousness, okay? So as you're going to the higher and higher and higher levels, you might just start acclimating and your dream experiences won't really be happening, or they'll be less vivid. That's because there's other things needing to happen. You're kind of just settling into the new level of consciousness. So if it's paused for a while, that's okay. It's supposed to be that way. The dreams will return. They always do. I too have experienced that. I truly have. All right, so let's see. Shall we do one more? Avoiding psychic waves. That sounds really helpful right now. All right. I have always enjoyed a good scare, whether watching a film or reading. Okay, that is so not me. Not interested at all. Don't put any of my energy there whatsoever, because I feel like if you do, then you're just going to call that kind of energy to yourself. It's ugly to me. Over the past many years, however, witches, demon, werewolves, and vampires have increasingly dominated written and audio-visual entertainment. I have the impression this phenomena is most prominent in the USA. Why the emphasis of late on monsters and inhuman evildoers? Should we have any trepidation about reading or watching these supernatural tales? Oh, that's a good question. I actually do sometimes read some of those books. Maybe you guys do too. So do you have any thoughts or advice to pass along to Chilas, that's students, young and old, on this timely topic? Okay, so maybe it's a warning, maybe it's not. Let's see. Psychic waves sweep many people into the dark waters of a negative sea. When the crests of psychic waves peak, they are incredibly good at tricking people into the dark waters of a negative stream. On the other hand, when the crests are low, the psychic forces attract few foolish adventurers. These crests are high now, as evidenced by society's fascination with the forces of evil. True that. It is important to note, however, that solid Eckists have no interests in witches, demons, vampires, and the like. They know the Eck is their foundation. Okay. I loved comic books when I was a kid. Among my favorites were horror comics. The comic book horror story that cured me of buying such books was about an evil glazier. I don't know what a glazier is. Anyway, he would park his truck by a field where kids were playing ball. When a batter hit a long fly ball, the glazier would redirect the ball to crash through the picture window of a house on the edge of the field. When the distraught homeowner viewed the damage, the glazier would drive up and offer to replace the window. Oh, that's horrible, at a favorable price. The glass was of a special kind that opened a portal into the lower astral world. Monsters of every shape and size would drift through the picture window and enter the home, haunting the inhabitants until they slowly but surely turned on each other and finally lost their minds. I had bad dreams for a long time afterward. My advice is to never toy with the dark forces. Love the Eck and sing Hugh to keep you safe from all spiritual harm. Okay, so maybe my romantic fantasy novels should probably just be romantic novels. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to ponder on that, because I always take things into contemplation and just think about it, you know? It's important. Putting yourself in the center of now. I have learned so much, but feel there's also so much more. Is there a special spiritual exercise we can do in order to serve better as an Eck leader, to open to even greater love, wisdom, and surrender? Okay, so Eck leader, or you could just be like a spiritual person, right? You already do so much, but here's an Eck spiritual exercise to try. Find a quiet place where you're likely to be undisturbed for a few minutes. Shut your eyes, be comfortable, relax. Then put yourself in the center of now. Okay, so being here and now. Watch your mind and its thoughts dance around you. Appreciate them, let them play. Yes, they are mental creations, but spiritualized. They are your able and willing helpers. With you is the Mahanta. Enjoy this holy moment. So basically he's saying, be here now, watch your mind and thoughts dance around you as if floating by in a cloud or dancing around. I like that too. I usually use the cloud rolling by, but dancing around you. Okay, so you don't have to actually tune into that dance or that dance or that dance. You can just be a calm center, let them play, and you stay centered. I like that. That really calms me down, even just thinking about it. All right, maybe it'll work for you guys too. I think that's all for today. Have a good one.